Sticks and Storms here, coming at you with another video. I thought I'd use today to show you my survival kit and give tips on what I would change about it and what I like about it and what's worked for me. So this is it right here in a nutshell. This is the condensed version. It's pretty small, just fits into my school bag, so all my school stuff is in there too. Right now, except for my laptop, but my laptop would fit in there with the charger. All right, let's open her up and see what she's got. All right, so first thing on the top here, this might be an unconventional item, but this is a set of T-Max thermal leggings and thermal undershirt, whatever. I live in a pretty cold part of North America, and you don't want to be caught outside without proper insulative clothing in the wintertime, so I always bring these. Usually they're my lake bag, but I like to keep them in my survival kit just for good measure. And just to reiterate before we get in, this isn't a go bag, a get home bag. It doesn't have a full equipped medical kit inside it, and it's not for all emergency survival situations. It's mainly for my bushcraft habits and for a few essentials that are needed if I had to spend a week or two in the woods. But it doesn't contain a lot of expendable, non-reusable products. So T-Max, that's a big one. All right, then I have a bunch of other items, but the first one I want to get into is this is an old pair of sunglasses. You really don't want to get eye damage in the woods. So if you're chopping trees and you catch some debris in your eye, you really don't want to deal with that. There are ways you can deal with that, but I like to avoid it with these. Also, you avoid a lot of glare off the water and the snow using sunglasses, so I always like to keep some of this if I'm doing some heavy work out in the woods. My next item, or group of items, is right here. I'll pull it out right now. So this is the bulk of our kit right here. So from our kit, I removed the bulk of the items in here. They're all contained in a toque, which is just for convenience, so I can take this in and out of the bag pretty easily, just as one big unit. And yeah, it contains everything. I hope I'm not stretching out the toque too much, but the toque itself is a survival item. You don't want your ears getting too cold, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So, and I also have some other equipment in here just for the weather. Neck warmer in the place of a scarf, for instance. Spare t-shirt. This serves as a rag in case I need it. Spare rag. All right, now for the main items in here. So, survival knife, obviously. This is one I really like. It's flat ground blade, very strong, very ergonomic. Basically, it's just very simple, and it fulfills all my needs. The steel's good, and it's carbon steel, so you have to maintain it. But we have some items to maintain it in our toque here. So, great knife. Would recommend. I'll mention the name in the description. But you need a knife. It's useful for so many things. I would never go into the woods without one because I use it for all kinds of carving projects, crafting projects, occasional batoning if I have to, but I don't like to. And I don't want to put this through any abuse, but it can definitely take some batoning. So that's our knife. All right, so in no particular order here, paracord is a very essential item. So not only can it hold a lot of weight, and it packs well, it's useful for so many things, from tarp setups to hanging a pot over your fire to many other things. And if you need to, you can use the inside strands for fishing line, or for with a sewing kit to repair some of your gear. So you never know what you'll need. If it's a prusset knot, if you need to tie a bowline for something, you never know. That's your cordage. My great-grandfather fought in both world wars, and his kind of one greatest word of advice, I suppose, to my grandfather, he repeated it all the time, was you always bring more socks, I guess because of trench foot and all that. So I always bring a spare set of socks. I never want to walk around in wet shoes. All right. A comb for hygiene. Other small items. In here we have a mirror, which can be used for signaling, but more so I just use it so I can see myself if I don't have water around. So I can, if I get something in my eye, I can help take it out. If I get something on a part of my body that's hard to see, I can use this to see it. In here we have a small compass. I haven't used that very much before, so that's one thing I would change, is actually just my skill set to be able to use this compass, but it's a very small piece of magnet that acts as a compass. In here I also have some small set of scissors. It's difficult to see, but a heavy-duty sewing needle, relatively heavy-duty sewing needle. And what else do I have in here? Oh, tweezers, because you'll get all kinds of nasty wood stuff in the woods. And that's basically that part of the kit. Now, paracord was one of our most important items, and you want to attach the inner strands to the outer sheath by burning it. So I always bring a lighter. This is just a plain old Bic lighter, and I keep it in a bag so that the gas doesn't, or the butane doesn't leak out. For more hygiene, I always bring a toothbrush. You don't need to bring toothpaste, but just at least a toothbrush is good. All right, now for maintaining our knife, this is one sharpener that I have, and I haven't used this one yet. I just purchased it about a month ago, and I haven't used it to maintain the edge. It's a ceramic sharpener, so both sides are ceramic. You can see the brand name there. And the sheath you can use for stropping, I've heard. I have my own dedicated strop, but not in this kit. So, and I think one of the advantages of this particular sharpener is that you can place it onto a flat piece of wood, put some nails in it, and you basically have something that's not going to move. And I'd put that in between my knees and use it to maintain the edge. So very excited to try this out. But my sharpener in the past, which I've used for more knives and whatnot, has actually been this. And I got this from my grandparents. I have no idea where they got it from, but it is it looks like this, and you twist out, this part screws out, and inside it contains a ceramic rod. Ceramic rods are awesome, and this one's just super compact, so I love this. So that's definitely, these are both essential pieces of kit. Then we have ferro rods, and they get really gunky, so I keep them in a plastic bag, but you don't need to. Ferro rods go without saying. They can light many, many, many fires. And yeah, I love them. It's also just a super fun bushcraft activity to light fires with this ferro rod. And eventually the butane will run out on your lighter, but you can light many fires with this, with the right technique. I have an unconventional first aid kit in this. It's very, very minimalist. Like I'd say even more than minimalist. It's a little bit absurd. This is duct tape, and I use this for patching up wounds before I can get some proper bandaging. So yeah, this is just kind of I would use H bandages if I, wanted to go buy them for my kit, but this is just a backup. I have some other items that I would add, which I'll cover later. This is my antiseptic. This is soap. So just for washing my hands in general, but so I actually took some glycerin soap, which is biodegradable. I bought it for about $1.50 on Amazon, and I cut it up into really little pieces, which more or less worked out. The texture is strange, so it didn't really cut very well, but then I just wrapped them individually in cellophane and put them in a bag here. So I have lots of soap ready to go. One of these I think can basically take care of my body. I wish I had a better antiseptic, but this will work out for the time being. All right. And normally I keep a spoon, but it's I used it for something, and but there should be a spoon in here, but a spoon and a fork, and they're just bound together by this rubber band. You can make a fork and a spoon. You can carve those. They're pretty simple carving projects. Not that I have a lot of experience in that, but I always keep some clean utensils. All right. This is a very low budget headlamp. Just so you can, hands-free, you can see what you're doing in the dark. Although I wouldn't be doing a lot of work in the dark. In general, it's not safe to use an axe after dusk. You want to be able to see what you're doing, and the axe generates a lot of injuries in people. It's just, even with experienced users. So, but this is good to use for when you need it. So there's, I think, 3 settings on this guy. All right. Last part of our first aid kit here is painkillers. So I got a fair amount of Advil in here. This is my little pride and joy. It's a beautiful, beautiful knife. I mentioned the name in the description, but you can all see pretty much what it is. It's a regular Swiss Army knife, but the tools are a bit heavier duty on it. They're thicker steel, and just beautiful. They have a stronger snap, like it's more of a strong slip joint. And basically, I won't take it all apart right here, but it has a main blade. It has your bottle opener combination tool, your can opener combination tool, and an awl, a really sturdy awl, unlike the others that comes out from the end rather than through the middle of the handle. And it chews up through wood like crazy, so that's great right there. And just the screwdrivers adds a lot of functionality, and the can openers. Another very important item. This is just another rag that I appropriated from a t-shirt. I just cut the t-shirt up into a smaller piece, and you can never have too many rags in the bush. You'll often need to clean your knife or clean your cooking utensils or your cookware, lots of other things. Give yourself a sponge bath. So I definitely use a rag a lot in the woods, so this is just purely from experience. Rags are great. And that one's soft. All right, and this is a fish mouth spreader. That's our last item inside the toque, besides the toque itself. And that leads me into the next part of the kit. So the fish mouth spreader is to be used in combination with these items. So we got a stainless steel bottle with a wide mouth, Nalgene. You all probably know that. This is just for pot cleaning. It's a little handkerchief, but not important. Basically in the same category as those. And stainless steel cup. So I usually use the cup for, this is a very, very minimalist cook set. Unfortunately, I don't have a lid for the cup, but that would be ideal. Just to make it more efficient at boiling water and cooking with. But this is 24 ounces measured from the top here. So that holds as much as the Stanley Adventure Cook Set, which is a pretty standard in the backpacking world. So this is great. I have no complaints about this, and I have no problem using it as like my dedicated cooking item. And yeah, this bottle, you're capable of boiling it because it's steel, and so you can always purify your water basically to the best of your ability. So I really appreciate that, and I actually keep it filled with water. But I don't like cooking you could cook in the bottle as well, but I don't like to do that. I basically just keep it for hydration. And the fish mouth spreader is very, very strong pull. And I actually wouldn't use it like this because of the carcinogenic coating on it, I believe. So I'd put it through the fire for a little bit first before using it and try and strip off the outside layer here. But it fits inside the wide mouth of this bottle, expands, and then you can hang it from your pot setup. So that's these items. All right, we're on to our last item here, I believe. in the place of a tarp, if you don't have the budget to go out and buy a whole tarp, you don't need it. You can use one of these. So this is basically Mylar. It's a larger version of your standard space blanket, which is very insulative, provides a great shelter. So this is an emergency tool though. It's not very heavy duty, so it probably will not hold up to the elements as long as you like. But and Mylar tears, so you have to be careful. But if used correctly, you can learn how to build a proper shelter and have a reliable source of insulation at the same time. So Mylar is a very important item. Now, actually, I said that was our last item, but our real last item is, you're probably wondering why I didn't show the axe. So an axe is a super, super important tool. Not only it's a fine blade that you can use to carve with, and you can use to take down trees, and process them into logs, but it also provides you with a hammer. Very, very versatile item, probably the one item you need to survive. And you don't need an axe. You could baton with the knife, but I don't want to put my knife through that strain, and I want to keep the edge sharp. So I'd want to use the axe for more hard work, and just building the skill with using an axe. It's a very important tool. This one isn't well maintained, but I'm showing it here because this is the size of axe that I believe you would want in a kit, and you'd want to carry it on your side with a mask. I don't see any sense in carrying something smaller like a hatchet. You should just carry a camp size axe. But you could also carry a hatchet in this fashion.